Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Immunohemolytic anemias. They are described as anemias that are caused by antibodies that bind to red cells, leading to their premature destruction. For proper understanding of pathogenesis and classification of immunohemolytic anemias, it is important to rewind some features of major antibody classes. IgG and IgM, they are the major antibodies present in the human body. IgG, it is a small antibody which consists of a single unit. And the IgG antibodies, they are reactive both at core body temperature of 37 degrees Celsius and the temperatures below 30 degrees Celsius. While IgM antibodies, they are very large antibodies which consist of 5 units. IgM antibodies, they are reactive at a temperatures below 30 degrees Celsius. IgG, they are a small antibodies, and when they are present, they bind only to the surface of one red blood cells, and they are not able to interlink the two adjacent red blood cells. While IgM antibodies, they are large antibodies, and they clump together the two adjacent red blood cells, resulting in agglutination. Classification of immunohemolytic anemias. They are classified into three main classes: warm antibody type, cold agglutinin type, and cold hemolysin type. Warm antibody type, they are further subclassified depending upon their etiology into primary and secondary. Primary occurs due to unknown causes, and secondary occurs due to autoimmune disorders, drugs, and lymphoid neoplasm. Cold agglutinin type, they are subclassified into acute and chronic. Acute, they occur due to certain bacterial and viral infections, while chronic is due to idiopathic causes and lymphoid neoplasm. Cold hemolysin type, it is rare and usually seen in children following viral infection. Warm antibody type, it is the commonest form of immunohemolytic anemia. Most commonly IgG class, they are involved, and less commonly IgA antibodies, they are also seen. Pathogenesis. As we have seen in the previous slides that as we have seen in the previous slides that warm antibody types, they are caused by drugs, neoplasm, and autoimmune disorders. Only drug induced hemolytic anemias, they are best described, and two mechanisms they have been known. One is antigenic drugs and tolerance breaking drugs. Antigenic drugs, these drugs, when they enter the body, they act as an antigen and they trigger the immune system of the body. These hemolytic anemias, they occur after large intravenous doses of offending drug and occur 1 to 2 weeks after therapy. The causative drugs are penicillin and cephalosporins. This picture shows the mechanism of action of penicillin induced hemolytic anemia. This is a red blood cell. This is a penicillin which is attached to the surface of red blood cells, and this is the antibody. When penicillin, it is attached to the surface of red blood cell, it binds with the antibody. This picture shows the mechanism of action of cephalosporin induced hemolytic anemias. Again, this is a red blood cell. This orange is a plasma protein, and this green is a drug. When cephalosporin, it is present alone on the surface of red blood cell, it is not an antigen. But when it binds with the plasma protein or the cell membrane protein, it acts as an antigen, and it binds with the antibody. This protein drug antibody complex also fixes complement. When the complement system is fixed, it causes intravascular hemolysis, but more often they act as an opsonins that promote extravascular hemolysis within phagocytes. The second mechanism is a tolerance breaking drug. The prototype is methyl dopa, which is an antihypertensive drug mainly used in pregnant ladies. Methyl dopa leads to the production of antibodies by an unknown manners. These antibodies they are directed against red cell antigens, particularly the Rh blood group antigens. About 10% of patients taking alpha methyl dopa they develop autoantibodies, and roughly 1% will develop clinically significant hemolysis. Second class is cold agglutinin type. It is a self-explanatory term which shows that the red blood cell agglutination will occur at a colder temperature. It is caused by IgM antibodies that will bind red blood cells strongly at a lower temperature. It is less common than the warm antibody type, account for 50 to 30% of cases. They are divided into acute and chronic types. Acute types they are caused by certain infections such as Mycoplasma pneumonia, Epstein-Barr virus, cytomegalovirus, influenza virus, and human immunodeficiency virus. These are self-limited and the antibody rarely induce clinically important hemolysis. Chronic type they occur in association with certain B cell neoplasm or an idiopathic condition. Clinical cold agglutinin type, their clinical symptoms they occur from binding of IgM antibody which bind to red blood cells in the peripheral circulation where the temperature may fall below 30 degrees C, such as in the finger, toes and ears. When IgM it binds with the red blood cell, it causes its agglutination and it also fixes complement system. As the blood recirculates and warm, IgM antibody is released and complement component C3b it remains attached to the surface of red blood cell. This complement component it is an excellent opsonin which leads to their removal of affected red blood cells by phagocytosis in spleen, liver and bone marrow. The third class is cold hemolysin type, which means hemolysis which occurs at a colder temperature. Cold hemolysins they are autoantibodies which are responsible for an unusual entity known as paroxysmal cold hemoglobinuria, which cause intravascular hemolysis and hemoglobinuria. Most cases they are seen in the children following viral infection. These are transient and they disappear after 1 month. The autoantibodies are IgG that bind to the P blood group antigens on the red blood cell surface in the cool peripheral regions of the body. Complement mediated lysis they occur when the cell recirculate to warm central regions because the complement cascade functions more efficiently at 37 degrees C. The reactions seen in a cold hemolysin type they are more severe than the one seen in the cold agglutinin type because IgG it is active both at a colder temperature and at a warmer temperature. So IgG and complement they both remain attached to the surface of red blood cells, leading to more severe consequences. Clinical presentation: the patients with the immunohemolytic anemias they will present with pallor or cyanosis, jaundice, dark colored urine, visceromegaly and painful extremities. Diagnosis: CBC will show normocytic normochromic anemia, peripheral film will show spherocytes and fragmented red blood cells, and reticulocyte count is raised. For the diagnosis of immunohemolytic anemias, direct and indirect Coombs test is routinely advised. Indirect Coombs test, we determine the presence of immunoglobulin and complement which are present on the surface of red blood cells. This picture shows the mechanism behind direct Coombs test. These are the red blood cells which are taken from the patient. The red blood cells they contain they have an attached antibodies and complement system, and this is a reagent which contains which is called anti-human globulin. It contains antibodies against human immunoglobulins and complement components. When these anti-human globulin they are added into the patient blood, they will result in the clump formation, and it can be seen with the naked eye. If the agglutination is present, it means that the Coombs test is positive, and it means that the antibodies and complement system they are present on the surface of red blood cells. Indirect Coombs test will determine the presence of antibodies in the serum of the patient. This picture it shows this is a serum from the patient which contains antibodies, and this is a reagent which contains commercially prepared red blood cells with desired antigen. When the reagent and the patient serums they are mixed together, the antibodies they will bind to the antigens present on the surface of red blood cells. Again, as these antibodies they are IgG antibodies, they will not result in agglutination. Again, we will add anti-human globulins, and when the anti-human globulins they are added to this mixture, the clump is formed, and the clump formation means that the antibodies are present in the serum of the patient. Treatment. Remove the underlying cause, such as, for example, the drugs. Treat the underlying diseases, for example, infections and leukemias. Corticosteroids, immunosuppressive drugs, they are given. Splenectomy is the mainstay. Chronic cold agglutinin immunohemolytic anemias, they are more difficult to treat. Thank you.